Okay, everybody, we're going to try to do this without getting stung. Show you how I do this. Put the feed in on this hive here. The bees are a little active this morning, even though it's a little cool out. They got a place in the yard where they go and get water. And they seem to be on the water this morning. And I got a thing for pollen, but they're not touching it yet, which is kind of weird. I would think they'd be all over the pollen feeder, but they're not. You can see they coming and going here. And I'm fixing to open this lid up. You see the feeder box under there. Air holes in the feeder. Let moisture out. Ventilation. I don't know what that is. So we're going to take the lid off. And hopefully we don't get stung. Feeder's right up underneath there. Okay, that's where I'm going to put my piece of paper at. Try to shoo them down in there when I do it, and then I'm going to put the sugar on top. I'm going to get my piece of paper ready. I'll let y'all sit here and look at the girls while I do that. How's that? Y'all can look down in there at them. Watch them moving around. Let me get my paper. Alright, here we go. We're going to stick the paper down in here. Make them a little angry. It'll take them a little while to eat through that. And we're going to start putting sugar on it. Like I say, I mixed this up in the house. It's still a little dry, just enough that it's going to form in here and stay. And then it'll help soak up moisture from the hive. We're not going to fill this all the way up, but we just want some in here now to help soak up moisture because it's getting down so cold. And you see where they're all at, they're right there. And the reason they're doing that right there above that hole is they trying to keep it from losing their heat. So that's why they're all up on top like that, blocking that hole, that ventilation. Well, now it's blocked, so all the air is not escaping. And they got places in here for moisture to come out. You can see last year where they tried propolizing the hole shut because they know how much they need and don't need. And these wood shavings help soak up moisture. And that's on both sides of my feeder. And they got ventilation holes for it to escape. So this will all work out great. And they love these feeders, you know. Hey, it's not top shelf, but it works for me and it works for them. They like it. I've had other feeders that they actually have to break from their little cluster, climb up in there to get to the feed. Well, some of it worked, sometimes it didn't, and I was losing more bees because they wasn't getting to that feed. And even here in Georgia, you still have warm days, but once they don't realize it, and I've tried everything, and some of them tried to get them to come up to it, and they just wouldn't do it. Alright, that's all we're going to put in there on this particular hive for now. And see how they enjoy it. Now, this will cause some time for ants to draw for the sugar, but I use cinnamon. For some reason, cinnamon is a deterrent for ants. So I will come back and spread cinnamon around and keep them from getting in here. And that will help run the ants out, keep the ants out. You might still have a few, but it does really break them down. I sprinkle it all down around the hive stand and all that just to deter them. And I'll come back and do all that later. Y'all don't really want to watch all that, but like I said, cinnamon works for ants and helps them stay away. But that's how I do my feeders right there. You see that, and they will eat that up, and I'll have to come back and fill it again. Once they get used to it, get used to eating that sugar, because when it gets cold right now, there's really nothing out here for them to get. And they'll start eating this and help put it up for stores and all that. And come winter, I'll have all my bees. Now, you do lose bees in the wintertime for one reason or another. Last year, I lost 7 hives. Don't know why. I found feed in there and wasn't no mites. I treat from the mites and all that, and it's just like they didn't move around for the feed. But then again, it had one of them other feeders on top. So, you know, this year I don't have that. That's how I'm doing all my hives this year, just like this right here, and it works out great. Hey, it ain't got to be pretty. It's just got to work. And it seems to work. I haven't had trouble out of these hives with this type of feeder on top, where they can get to the sugar and be right underneath of it, and it helps soak the moisture up. I can't say that enough. Moisture will kill your bees. It'll drip down there on them, and it will kill your bees. And this works fantastic. So anybody likes this design, you can see it's easy. It's just a square box, got a place in the middle. You seen the wire in the bottom, and then I put the newspaper over it. I like that better than it being on top of the frames. That way they still have their space. They still have their bee space there where they walk across the top of the frame. Some people put it directly on the frames and then put the top back on it. I don't do that. This way they still have their bee space to move around, and they'll eat right through that sugar and just tear it up. And I'll make a video one day showing you how they eat the sugar and how they'll all be up here on top of all that. And I'll have to smoke them down and put more back on there. Alright, we'll see y'all on the next video.